Hello everyone, and welcome into Golden Eagle Sports Report. I'm Shane Hogan.
And I'm Nick Galley. Let's get started, Marquette Nation. Welcome back to Campus Marquette. Now that the new year is here, it's time to dive back into Marquette sports, starting with the women's basketball team. Overall, it's been a very impressive stretch from the squad. The team recently traveled away from the Al McGuire Center for battles with the Xavier Musketeers and Butler Bulldogs, winning both of those games with ease. Alizea Blockton also notched her 2,000th point, and the team is now ranked 10th in the nation, their highest ranking in the history of the program.
Now, despite the Golden Eagles' two recent away matches, their dominance at home has also continued to evolve as the squad clashed with the Red Storm of St. John's just over a week ago. I was on hand to recap the action. A few hours before the Marquette women's team hosted St. John's on Sunday, Marquette legend Dwayne Wade returned to campus to be honored. However, there was another significant return that didn't get as much national attention. Alizea Blockton, Marquette's all-time leading scorer, returned to action after missing 5 consecutive games with an ankle injury.
Yeah, I mean, today was just about getting her back in the flow, getting her confident, get her some minutes under her belt. We knew she wasn't going to play a lot as she kind of comes back, and we're not going to go 0 to 60 with her. But I thought she looked good. I thought she was moving well. We just got to make sure that she keeps getting confident as we go.
Blockton may not have scored in her return, but Natisha Heidemann, Danielle King, and Erica Davenport all dropped 20-plus in the team's win. In the middle of the third quarter, Marquette had their largest lead of 15, but St. John's would not go away thanks to Kurtiona Breelove, who led the Red Storm with 22 points. She was a force down low, and Marquette struggled against her in the paint.
We wanted to pack the paint, and I don't think we did a great job of that. I thought they got way too many uncontested looks inside.
The Red Storm were able to cut Marquette's lead down to just 4 with 2:15 left in the game. But after solid defense and clutch free throws, Marquette was able to avoid the upset and stay undefeated in conference play by a score of 83-73. The Golden Eagles will head on the road for their next 3 games, the first coming at Xavier on Friday. For Marquette Wire Sports, I'm Shane Hogan.
We now want to welcome in one of our women's basketball analysts, Dan Avington. Dan, always a pleasure having you on the show.
Always great being here, Nick.
Well, Dan, we're glad to have you. Glad to hear your answers here. I know they're going to be good. They better be. First episode of the year, so make sure they're good, all right?
That's a lot of pressure, Nick.
All right. Well, the Marquette women's basketball squad has been on an absolute tear over the past month or so. And as mentioned before, the team is now ranked number 10 in the nation. And Dan, what does this ranking mean for the program?
It's absolutely huge for the women's basketball team that they're cracking the top 10 again this week. Coach Karen Lekieger has gone through a lot of losing in the past couple of years. So the fact that this year, when they have 6 seniors that are going to graduate, the fact that they're able to win and crack this top 10 ranking, it's really important for the school as a whole, because Marquette's the only program in the nation right now to have women's basketball and men's basketball in the top 10. And that's just a really cool thing that the university can boast.
Yeah, I mean, fan morale at an all-time high right now. As you mentioned, both teams doing absolutely great. And I know that we've marveled at some of the greatness that the Golden Eagles have shown over this stretch right now. And what do you think has been the main factor for this team, why they're having so much success?
I mean, recently they've just been on an absolute tear. I can't explain exactly what it is, but they have 5 players that can run the floor at all times. And I think that's been absolutely crucial for them because nobody can defend it. They can get out in transition, and when there are bigger players on opposing teams, Erica Davenport is a lot faster than them as Marquette's main forward. So Marquette's able to push the pace, and no teams can ever keep up with that.
Yeah, and I mean, Alizea Blockton, obviously a huge leader on this team. Before we head into the Alizea Blockton part of their success, that game against Notre Dame, obviously Marquette took the loss, but what did you see in that game? Do you think there were any overlying issues that Marquette faced?
I really don't think there were a lot of issues in that Notre Dame game because the Fighting Irish are the defending NCAA tournament champions, and they were number 1 in the country when Marquette faced them. So that's a really tough matchup. Nobody in the country thought that Marquette was going to win that game, and the fact that Marquette even stuck in it was really, really impressive. So I don't know that I would say that it was a big loss or a roadblock in any kind of way. I just think that it was impressive that they were able to stay in it.
Yeah, Marquette battling the best team in the nation on the women's side of things. And Alizea Blockton obviously having a great season so far. It would be wrong for us not to mention how important she's been for the team. And she even managed to crack 2,000 career points in a Marquette uniform, the very first player to ever do so in program history. So what does Alizea mean to not only the program, but Marquette University as a whole?
She's likely the best player that has gone through the women's basketball program, and I might even argue that she's the best player to ever play for a Marquette team.
Wow.
I know, a bit of a hot take, but she's been crucial for Marquette in her past 4 years, and nobody's able to stop her when she's on the floor. She makes the team so formidable, and you could see that the team was missing a bit of a scoring punch when she wasn't on the floor. I mean, reigning Big East Player of the Year, you would expect that, but this team has come to depend on Alizea for a lot of their buckets. So you could tell that when they were losing her, that the team was kind of faltering. So this record really shows, and it kind of culminates her entire career.
Yeah, I mean, that was a very hot take there. I knew you were gonna hit us with some. I didn't know you were gonna go that hot, but I may have to take the jacket off. I don't know. Finally, after the conclusion of this season, the Marquette women's basketball team will be graduating their entire starting lineup, Dan, which consists of Alizea Blockton, Danielle King, Erica Davenport, Amani Wilborn, and Natisha Heidman. So, Dan, with the Golden Eagles losing their star seniors in the coming offseason, would you say that this 2019 campaign is an all-or-nothing season?
Nick, I really don't know how I feel about this one because I think obviously everyone knows that it's a high-stakes season, but I don't think it's an all-or-nothing season because you're developing a lot of players for next season, and I think that this season does have a lot at stake, but I wouldn't say that if they don't advance farther than the team ever has, I wouldn't say that it's necessarily a loss because they've already accomplished so much in their careers. So I don't think that the seniors are in any kind of situation like that right now.
Yeah, certainly could be a bright future. They definitely have some young talent on this team. But Dan, as always, thanks for joining us. And we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're talking some men's and women's lacrosse and the start of their seasons in the coming weeks. So don't go anywhere because Golden Eagle Sports Report will be right back.